We are live. Hello, everyone. Hey, guys, it is Janet Parks here and my new friend, Jonet Greenfield. We finally got together. We're finally doing this, y'all.
It's only been a couple months in the making.
Oh, my gosh. But you know what? What's most important is that we're here. So, y'all, I want to introduce you to my friend, Jonet Greenfield. If you haven't heard of her, y'all need to go follow her on her Instagram. She is amazing. And she is blessing us with her incredible presence to show us some awesome tips on how to grow our Instagram account as network marketers. So who is Jonet? She's a strategy. I mean, I love her because she's strategy based. You guys know, if you tune into the trainings on Saturdays here, I'm all about strategy. And she's a strategy-based coach and trainer for those looking to grow their Instagram account with network marketing. And she's also a leader in a network marketing company. And she's just kicking butt. So I'm going to let her introduce herself. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead, Jonet. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into network marketing.
Okay, well, so hi everyone. I am Jonet Greenfield, like she said, and my name looks like Jonet. We were just talking about that, but it's Jonet. And I have been in network marketing for 11 years. I actually just celebrated my 11-year anniversary, actually, believe it or not. And what got me into network marketing was the flexibility. At the time, I had a 5-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 1-year-old. So now they're all 16, 13, and 12. I mean, they're teenagers now. But at the time, they were young, they were little, and my husband worked a night shift. And I needed a way to bring in income. I wanted to be able to contribute financially to our family, but it needed to be flexible because with his crazy schedule, it really wasn't realistic for me to be able to go out and get a job working regular business hours. So
I totally get that.
I immediately was drawn to network marketing. And I always tell people it's the most accessible path to entrepreneurship, because the beautiful thing about network marketing, and I'm a huge advocate for network marketing. I have a huge passion for the industry just because I've seen the success that it can bring so many people. And one of my favorite perks about it is that it is the most accessible path. When you want to start your own business, there's a lot that goes into starting your business. Setting up your website. I mean, Janet and I were just talking about even getting we have the new technology we're using today. And we're talking about it's a lot of work as an entrepreneur. And the wonderful thing about network marketing is they take care of all that for you. You don't have to LLC yourself. You don't have to do all of finding a website, building out a website, paying for a domain, work on advertising. You don't have to do all of that. So I was instantly drawn to it because, as you can imagine, with 3 little kids, it was something that was going to be a little bit easier for me to do for starting my own business. So I started 11 years ago, and my goal was really just to make $250 extra a month. I thought that would be enough that it would cushion our budget a little bit, and I wouldn't feel guilty if I wanted to stop and go buy a coffee, or if I wanted to buy a cute new pair of shoes. It was just enough extra in our budget that was going to cushion it for us. So that was 11 years ago, believe it or not. And I even can't believe it. I'm 11 years, that's a long time. But obviously I love it. I'm having so much fun doing it. And so that's how I got into network marketing.
That's amazing. And I think there's so many similar stories, just so many women and just people in general that join with the same kind of goal, right? I mean, when I first started, I didn't have any idea that you could make something sustainable and dependable. So that's why I love that what you said, you can go into a business and you don't necessarily have to worry about all that back end stuff, right? You don't necessarily have to do an LLC. You don't have to create your own website if you don't want to. You can literally just kind of piggyback on something that's already been built. And then if you want to, create your own personal brand and your own personal success from it. So I love that. And that's great. That's awesome. Okay. So Jonet, you're incredible on Instagram. And I know that's why people are going to be tuning into this. I've been wanting to do an Instagram training in this group for a long time, but I am not great at that. And I get asked about Instagram and how to grow on a weekly basis. So I'm glad that I have a guru up in here. But you have an incredible following. How did you get started on Instagram, and what do you love most about it?
Okay, so that's a really good question, and it's a very loaded question. So I'll try and keep it. I'll try and keep it brief. But so I got started on Instagram a couple years ago. Well, I mean, I had been on Instagram personally, but a couple years ago, I found myself that's where I was going to hangout or my like downtime, I was preferring that over Facebook. I love Facebook, and Facebook is not going anywhere. There's so many wonderful tools and resources that we're able to use with this free platform of Facebook. But I found that it can get a little bit overwhelming, and there's just so much clutter on Facebook. And I found myself going to Instagram to kind of like cut out the noise and just like simply just scroll and not see a million things and groups and events. I mean, there's just so many layers to Facebook.
Right.
And one day I was kind of like, well, if this is where I'm hanging out, this is probably where my people are hanging out. Like, how can I start utilizing this to grow my business, or using this more for my business instead of mostly personal? Because at that time it was just all personal stuff. Right. So that's kind of what started it for me. I feel like I started on a journey that it was like, oh, wow, I did not realize. And I'm going to give you guys some pointers and tips here in a little bit, but it's a different platform. It's definitely different than Facebook. If you're trying to do the same thing on Facebook over on Instagram, you're going to be so frustrated and feel like you're running in circles, because what works well on Facebook does not work well over on Instagram. So they're apples and oranges, and you can't compare the two, and you can't treat the two the same. You wouldn't use oranges in an apple recipe, an apple pie recipe, and you probably wouldn't use apples in orange juice. Well, maybe you would not. Right. Well, I actually like apples and orange juice together, but you wouldn't use oranges over your apple pie recipe. Right. So kind of thinking of it as that way, I had to learn that the hard way. I kept trying to figure out why what I was posting on Facebook or what I was doing on Facebook wasn't working so well for me over on Instagram. So that's kind of how I got into it. And once I started figuring it out, my business started growing. Once I started realizing, oh, wow, okay, this is what you need to do. It's just different. It's not necessarily harder or easier than Facebook. It's just different than Facebook. And once you can kind of like crack into that code and realize what you need to do differently, that's when you're able to start growing your business utilizing the Instagram platform.
That's awesome. That's great. And yeah, I think I relate to that too, because when you look at Instagram, I mean, it's just like anything new, right? I mean, you have to kind of figure out the ins and outs and what works, what doesn't work. And I think a lot of us probably agree with that. And I get those common questions a lot, like, just share what's on your Facebook onto your Instagram. Why wouldn't that work? And it doesn't work. And I've tried that in the past also. And for whatever reason, the reach just isn't there. So, I mean, it's just a different platform. It's a different animal. But why don't you give us some hot tips on when it comes to running an awesome Instagram for network marketers?
Okay. So I always like to make sure I just like point out the elephant in the room when it comes to marketing for network marketers. And it's really important that we all keep in mind that we sell a product that hundreds, if not thousands of other people sell. And so when you are marketing your direct sales or your network marketing company, it's important to keep in mind that you're branding yourself, you're building yourself, you're marketing yourself, because anybody could go to. Okay, good. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Sorry, that's great. Go ahead.
Okay, good. I didn't know if you were starting to ask me something, and then
No, we just talk about like branding yourself versus focus so much on your products. You know how people on their social media accounts and they have Tupperware all over their banner and they're just vomiting so I just completely just resonated with what you just said, branding yourself. So, I mean, it's just good stuff. Keep going.
Yes. Yeah. And it's so true. You know, there's thousands of people could go to thousands of other people, get the same product in the same patterns or the same colors for the same exact price. So it's really important to keep that in mind. And I'm not out there to say like, oh, you have to be competitive. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying you need to make yourself stand out and be memorable so that when somebody thinks of your product, they immediately think of you as well. Not, oh, I know this. I saw this girl promoting this product or posting a bunch of products. If you're just promoting the product more than you're selling yourself, what they're going to do, or more than you're promoting yourself, what they're going to do is they're going to go onto Instagram. They're going to use it like a little Google search tab, and they're going to type in Tupperware bowls or Mary Kay lipstick or Pampered Chef bowl, or, there's so many different things they can just type in because you're making the product memorable, not yourself. So I want to kind of preface with that for marketing, because it's really important that you're marketing yourself and not just your products. But I did want to give you guys 5 different tips that you can start implementing right now, today, on your Instagram. If you are somebody starting from scratch with Instagram, you don't know what you're doing or how the heck to do it, these are things that you can implement right now. And if you're somebody who's very seasoned on Instagram and you love it, and it's someplace that you go to, socialize on social media, but you're just not sure how to start using it for your business, these 5 tips are also going to help you hone it in, focus, and show you where you should be spending your time and what you should be doing on Instagram. Okay, so the number one thing to stop doing is stop using generic and stock photos that your company puts out. Stop using generic and stock photos that your company puts out. Simply put, authentic content always translates better, always has a higher reach and better engagement when it's authentic content. And I always call them the algorithm fairies, the Instagram fairies. They are very smart. They know when it's a photo that's circulated around on the internet, and they know when it's a photo that was taken off of your camera or your phone, if it's authentic. And authentic always has higher favor with the algorithm, but it also has better engagement with your audience. And it's interesting. I'm working with a group right now, and one of the girls started taking her own pictures, and she's like, I cannot believe the difference in comments and likes that I'm getting. The only thing she did different was, instead of posting like specials that her company put out, she would use like the company's stock photos. Mm-hmm. She started posting her own pictures of her own kitchen with her own product. Like, wow. It's that simple. It really is. And I get it. I know that it's so much easier to copy and paste a photo or copy and save a photo to your phone that the company puts out, but doing that little bit of extra work of taking your own photos is going to be so much more better for your engagement and your growth on Instagram. So take the time to do it. I recommend even scheduling in like one day a week or even 2 days a month where you just bust out and take 1 million pictures and photos, or you have tons of content to pull from whenever you're ready to post. It's easier, actually, we call it batch content creating, because then you're getting all of your content at one time and you're not trying to do it every single day or every time you want to post. It's easier if you have a library to already just pull from. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2 is don't post and ghost. Don't post and ghost. And what I mean by that is, I see a lot of network marketers want to start growing their business on Instagram, start building up their Instagram. And one of the things they do is they do all the work of taking their own photos, coming up with great captions, and then they go post it on the Instagram app, and then they log out and call it a day. Or they get off the app and call it a day. For Instagram, you have to be engaging on the app. It's called a social media app because you're supposed to be social on it. You have to be engaging if you want to start getting any traction on Instagram. So instead of just going to post, plan out when you're going to post and go on there 15 minutes before, like people's stuff, comment on people's stuff, then post yours, and then do another couple minutes after you post and be social on the app. If you're just going to the app sheerly to post and getting off, you're going to have a lot harder time getting engagement and reach and just any kind of traction on any of your posts. And then you're going to feel like, okay, it doesn't work for me, or Instagram isn't working. So try not to do that. I know that if you're new to Instagram, it can be a little bit harder because you might not follow as many people, or you might not have as many people to respond to or comment to, but take the time to go out there and find your friends, go find some maybe local businesses or other entrepreneurs that you want to follow that inspire you, and take some time to follow them and engage with their content. And the more you engage with their content, the more likely they're going to be to engage with your content. Okay. Number 3 is, or that was 3, right? No, that was 2. Okay.
That was 2.
Okay. 2. So number 3 is start doing reels. Now, which, Janet, you do TikToks, so you probably are good. So if you do TikToks, reels is going to be nothing for you because it's the same. You basically can even cross-post it. Save the video that you make in TikTok and go put it up on reels. But the Instagram CEO has actually come out and said, we have built this platform on being a photo-based platform, but that is no longer. All of the algorithms and everything is set for this to be a video-based platform. Yeah. Specifically reels and IGTVs. So IGTV is basically just a longer formed video. So it's the different categories on Instagram are essentially Instagram's way of competing with different social media platforms. Like you have your newsfeed that competes with Facebook, you got your Reels now that competes with TikTok, and IGTV competes with YouTube. So it's just kind of their way of keeping more people on the app and engaged in the app. And the CEO came out and said, like, we are going to be a video-based platform. So if you have been, procrastinating or dragging your feet on entering into the TikTok and Reels world, now is the time to do it, because if you don't jump on now, you're going to get left behind. And it's not too late. I know people have been doing Reels for years. People have been, Reels for like a year, but they've been doing TikTok for years. It's not too late. It's not too late to jump in and figure it out and have fun with it. Be a little silly. Some of them are a little, they're going to push you outside of your comfort zone. It might be something a little bit different than what you're used to, but it really is a great way for you to make sure that you're growing your Instagram account.
That is amazing, Jonet, honestly, because I think so many people get kind of intimidated with Instagram now because it was here before TikTok, right? And so I think a lot of people think, oh, okay, well, we didn't really join during that prime time. We didn't really start during the prime time when Instagram really started growing. So for you to say that you still can grow this, like it's not too late. You can still hop on and make your presence online and grow. That's awesome. And I love the breakdown that you just had, because I didn't know what Instagram TV was. So I'm glad you explained it. I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
Yes.
I hope you guys are getting value from this. Hashtag value in the comments if you guys are so far. Anyways, go ahead, Jonet, with the next tip.
Yeah. Okay. So tip number 4 is show up every day on your stories. And like we talked about Instagram competing with the other platforms, Instagram stories is their way of competing with Snapchat. So stories are just little short video clips, like 15-second clips that only last for 24 hours. If you want them to last longer, you can always drag them over or save them over to your highlights. But showing up every day in stories is really important for putting yourself out there in front of your customers and reminding them of you. Now, I'm not saying you have to get on there and talk about your product every single day. And like I mentioned at the very beginning, it's really actually important that you are promoting yourself, marketing yourself, give people a little glimpse into your life. And, I always compare it to like reality TV. Stories it's more real, it's more raw, it's more of that behind the scenes look. Just like all of the reality shows are hugely popular, there's a reason for that. It, like in us, innately in human beings, we love to know what is going on behind the scenes. Like, give me the scoop, tell me the real, like what is happening. And that's why reality TV show is so popular. And stories is your little window to do that for your audience. Let them see you, let them get to know you. What that ultimately does is it drives connection between you. When you show up and you're showing how you are stressed that back to school is coming and you haven't even got your kids' school supplies and they start in the morning, there are moms out there in that same boat that are going to relate to you and they're going to connect with you. And again, ultimately taking your customers on this journey of building that like no trust, building that connection. And then when you go to promote your product, because she already feels like you get her and you relate to her and she relates to you, she's going to buy into what you're selling because it's going to seem more, or she trusts you more. She's just going to be like, okay, if she recommends this product, I'm going to try this product. Or she gave me this really great idea for back to school lunches and I love that idea. So now, you're building that trust factor with her. Okay, I love this idea. So I'm going to try this other idea she has, which could be your product, your service, or your offer. So it's really important that you're showing up on the stories every single day, not just with your product. You can show up with your product too and put little things out there about your product, but remember to keep the content authentic, your pictures, your videos, and showing your face on stories. I know that can be intimidating, but stories is the place where you can show up with no makeup, messy bun. That's the place where you can show up real and raw and let people get to know the real you. And again, that just markets yourself so that they're getting to know who you are and they're remembering you, not just your product. Okay. And then lastly, so that was tip number 4. Lastly, the 5th tip is stay consistent. Stay consistent. So if you decide, okay, I'm going to start posting once a week on Instagram and showing up every single day in my stories. And remember, stories are only 15 seconds. So you could I usually recommend 3 stories a day, but you could do like a quote and, a picture of what you're out doing or a picture of, it doesn't have to be all your product and it doesn't have to be this like long video. So they're like little 15-second ones and I recommend them being 3. But if you're going to commit to showing up every single day, show up every single day. It doesn't have to be, that content doesn't have to be as thought through, the stories content, as your posts will, but start off with 1 post a week, move up to 2 a week, then 3 a week, and you'll see that you'll start to get some traction on there. But the most important thing is that you stay consistent, because just like if you got a gym membership, if you went to the gym for 1 week, you're probably not going to lose the extra 15 pounds in 1 week. I hate to break it to you. As much as I wish that would happen, that doesn't usually happen. And then even on week 2, you might not have lost the 15 pounds. Week 3, probably haven't lost the 15 pounds. Realistically, it's going to take anywhere from like 8 to 16 weeks to really see results that you're wanting to see. And if you stop, or like if you stopped going to the gym, or you stopped posting, or you stopped showing up on stories, you're basically taking a little bit away from the results that you could be seeing. So be consistent, decide what you're going to do, and then start showing up consistently with that. Like I said, it can be just 1 post a week, or it can be, I'm just going to show up every day in stories and post when I can this month. And then maybe next month you decide, okay, I'm going to post once a week. That's only 4 posts a month. Once a week is only 4 posts a month. So just build your way up, but whatever you decide to do, be consistent with it. And that's where you're going to start seeing results.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. That was pure fire, because that makes a lot of sense, right? You can't just, especially if you're trying to grow on a new social media platform, right? You've got to make sure that you're showing up, that you're consistent, that people can see you on a daily basis. Right. And, I don't know if you agree with this, but you shouldn't focus so much on the sales portion, kind of connected to what you just said, right? Yeah. I mean, you need to really focus on your content and just growing it every single day, and just making it a point to, even if it's not perfect. I think a lot of us tend to focus on the perfection side. Oh, but I don't look right, or, the text isn't pretty, or, I don't really know what I'm talking about today. I think it's okay to show up imperfect. You're being true and authentic to yourself. And maybe it's not amazing content. I think you start to kind of build that muscle over time, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's so true. It's interesting you say that, because a lot of my one-on-one clients I work with, that's the first thing they wanted to jump to is, how do I start selling on Instagram? And I'm like, we're not going to start selling on Instagram yet, because there's a lot of footwork that goes into it before. And once you establish that foundation and build that foundation of them getting to know you and basically just putting yourself out there consistently, that's when they reach out to you and they're like, hey, my kids are headed back to school and they all need thermals. You sell lunch totes, don't you? Yes, actually I do. Let me give you my link. I mean, that's really what builds the sales, is that connection, driving that connection with you and other people. But there's a lot of work you got to do for that before you can start selling. If you jump on and you just start selling and you start treating Instagram like it's your closed customer Facebook group, you're going to be like driving yourself nuts and feel like you're just spinning your wheels, not going anywhere, because it's not going to work the same. It just won't.
Yeah. And I like that distinction between the two, right? You can't treat it like a closed Facebook group where people are there for a different reason, right? Yes. Your Instagram, you want to attract people. And I'm a big believer in people follow people, right? Yep. I mean, they don't follow companies. I believe people follow people. And, that's what's really going to set you apart from the thousands of others that sell the same thing as you. Okay, cool. You're selling a product that 60,000 other people also sell, right? That's the reality. So how are you going to stand out? What more can you give, right? Yes. You can give solutions, you can give value, you can give tips, you can give hacks. And that's what I love about your Instagram account. And, I play around in it every so often. I'm not great on Instagram, but just looking at your highlights and your posts and your reels, like, you're there for the same reason, but you have a message behind everything you're saying, and you're not there with the sole purpose of, I hope I get a sale today, right? You can tell that's not what that's not the initial thought in your head every day. Your thought is, how can I give value and attract people to me? How can I build that know, like, and trust factor with the content? What can I share to help give people real solutions? So I love that awesome breakdown that you just had. And I really want to talk about this awesome masterclass that you have. Or is it a masterclass or is it a course?
It's a course. I mean, I call it a masterclass too, because it's like jam-packed. It is a course. It's a course and coaching program. So it's a 6-week course, and we do it 6 weeks together. And every single week we do a coaching call. So I don't just like throw the course at people and say like, here you go, figure it out. Here's my toolbox. Have fun. I like actually will like walk you through it and we'll coach through it and answer questions. So yeah, that I started that last year, actually a year ago, this summer. So yeah, it's been a year since I launched that.
That's amazing. Yeah. And I think it's super important to just, whenever you invest in anything, I think it's important that you invest in yourself. I actually saw a highlight from you. Not that I'm stalking you or anything, maybe a little bit. So wait, Jonet, Janet, there's a thing there, right?
Yes, that's true. That's true.
I saw a highlight from you not too long ago of you pretty much just talking about, something that a lot of us really need to think about, right? Like, you can only get so far in your business, right? You can try to figure things out on your own and then take forever to try to figure that out. Or you can invest in yourself and you can propel yourself a little bit faster. So I know that your masterclass is closed right now, but you do have a waiting list, right?
I have a waiting list. So if any of you are like, okay, I just want the whole course. I want to do this. I need to do this. You're ready to invest in your business and start growing yourself on Instagram and your business on Instagram. Send me a message on Instagram and you can find me. Look, my name's down in the corner because Janet did this. I'm like, where is my name? You did this really cool. I'm like, I love the whole branding thing. I just love it. It looks so nice. That's my name.
We're playing with today.
And you can find me on Instagram there. It's Jonet.Greenfield. And you'll find me there and you can send me a message and let me know. And I'll give you the link to the wait list if that's something that you're interested in.
Awesome, guys. All right. So I guess you answered my last question then. How can people find you? So she's awesome on Instagram. So Jonet, I almost said Jonet again. I'm looking at my name and I'm like,
I do get it all the time. I get Janet all the time. I
yes.
People assume I spelled my name wrong or I don't know.
It's beautiful though. At Jonet.Greenfield. That's where you can find her on Instagram. So send her a message. Go follow her. Go take a look at her incredible content, y'all. And I'm going to leave you guys with that, Jonet. Hey. Anything else that you got for us?
I don't think so. I think, you guys can follow me on Instagram and I always try and give little business tips there too. So you guys will be able to get a little bit more tips from me there.
Thank you so much for blessing us with your presence and giving us amazing tips. I hope to have you again sometime.
Yes. Thank you for having me. I would love to come back.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. Join us next week for the next Tuesday talk and I'll see you guys later.
Bye, everyone.